What's up guys, it's Avery here. I was recently filling up my car with gas and was thinking about how over a year ago it was only $1.50 per gallon to fill up with points. And today, even though I was filling like Bill, just like my grocery store told me to, it was over $3 per gallon. And this is one of the most noticeable effects of inflation. So if you want to learn how to beat inflation, go ahead, grab your water, stay hydrated, and let's increase your purchasing power. So why does inflation occur? It's obviously very simple. You haven't hit that like button yet. But a real reason would be cost push inflation. And pretty simply, a product or service or good costs more in its production, and then that cost of production is pushed onto the consumer, increasing the price of that product or good. And another reason would be demand pull inflation, which also very simply is when demand for something increases, the price of it tends to increase. An example of this could be a hurricane event and people are going to the store to get more bottled water. And there's less of it available, but there's very high demand, so the value of that price of bottled water will increase. Inflation also occurs because Big Daddy Jerome Powell and the Fed has a part in it. They want to see a 2% inflation rate every single year. So if inflation is getting too high, they will raise rates, which typically lowers inflation. And if inflation is too low, they will lower rates, which typically increases inflation. We've seen in the last year very low interest rates and inflation has increased a lot. There's also been other issues with supply, but you can see here when interest rates are lower, people are able to borrow more money, which puts more money into the circulation of the economy, increasing the size of the economy, the value of prices, all of those things. So the Fed also plays an important role in inflation. Okay, very cool. We figured out exactly what inflation is, how it occurs, and every single one of you watching is an economics genius.
You're a goddamn genius!
And every single one of you watching has also gone down and hit that like button, so I appreciate it, but you're still dying for me to tell you exactly what my channel is about. Typically, I'm talking about personal finance as well as real estate investing. So if those things sound cool to you, make sure you stick along for the ride. But the real question is, how do we beat inflation? Very simply, we need to invest in assets that have a greater rate of return than the rate of inflation. So how do we do that? Let's say you had $1,000 in your bank account a year ago. Today, it would be worth about $995 because of inflation. Not really on paper because the nominal value of that $1,000 is still the same in your bank account. And although you haven't invested it, the bank has gone ahead and done that and loaned out your money and earned interest on it, but all you've done is lost your purchasing power. And that value is still $1,000, like I said, but it's because everything else has increased in price that the value of your money sitting in the bank hasn't really done anything. So you need to make sure that you don't just have that money that you're earning, working really hard for, sitting in that bank account, allowing the bank to earn money on it, but you take that money and invest it in assets like stocks, cryptocurrency, and real estate, and a bunch of other kind of things that earn a greater return than the rate of inflation, so that when you go to purchase stuff, you feel really good about how your money is doing and that it's not just losing a bunch of power. That first asset class that you could invest in that will outperform inflation and make sure that you do not lose purchasing power would be investing in the stock market. And investing in the stock market is an extremely broad thing to do. There are many ways to do it. You can actively day trade, you can passively invest your money, you can invest in specific companies, you can invest in exchange traded funds or low cost index funds or blue chip stocks or a bunch of other ways to invest in the stock market. One way that you can outperform inflation that's worked very well for me in the stock market is just passively investing into low cost index funds using a platform like Vanguard. I like using Vanguard and no, I'm not sponsored by it. They don't have any type of affiliates, so definitely not sponsored, but it's a really good platform that I like to use because they have low fees, as well as they created a lot of these funds that make it very easy to invest in the entirety of the stock market. So instead of me analyzing specific companies and picking out certain stocks, I will just invest in a total stock market fund like VTI, and it'll follow the entirety of the US economy. So I'm not betting on one company doing really well, I'm betting on the US economy increasing over the course of my lifetime, which is a pretty safe bet in my opinion. And that's not to say you couldn't go day trade and do extremely well. This is personal finance, so it's personal to you. I personally just like spending my time on some of the other assets that I'm going to talk about later in the video. But you could go ahead, day trade, and outperform the market. And what that means is outperforming one of these total stock market funds like VTI that typically have an 8 to 10% return year on year. And in the last couple of years, it's been a lot higher because the market has gone up like crazy. And some people who day trade, like I said, do really well, beat the market, and other people don't do really well and they lose out to the market. And some other platforms that you could use that make it extremely easy for you, and they are known as Robo Advisors, so they pretty much do all of the work for you, are M1 Finance as well as Betterment. different. You just put your money in, have your risk allocation, and then it just does everything for you. It rebalances your portfolio from year to year between stocks and bonds and however you've allocated it without you having to do any work. Now, there'll be a slightly higher management fee compared to something like a Vanguard or Fidelity or Charles Schwab, which are all very similar, but it's going to be extremely easy, very passive, and you are going to do very well with your money, especially compared to leaving it in that bank account. Another asset that you could invest in that would help you beat inflation would be cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is a very hotly debated topic, especially in 2021. Many people got into it, including myself, and many people completely stay away from it and say it's the absolute worst. And other than that, companies and countries have even adopted it as real currencies, and many people have made money on these crazy meme coins like Shiba Inu. One guy invested $8,000 and it turned it into over $5 billion, which is a great way to hedge against inflation. I personally don't invest in the meme coins. I have invested into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. So cryptocurrency can be extremely volatile, but if you look at a lot of these charts through some of these, what I would call blue chip cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they've pretty much crashed upward since they began. And they're going to continue to do so, in my opinion, and eventually be far less and less volatile. And it's definitely still not too late to invest into these. You can dollar cost average your money similar to you would into stocks and just buy a little bit of it every single month and watch it increase in value. And another way that I've earned money with cryptocurrency is utilizing something known as a hot wallet. So BlockFi is an example of this. So I've purchased my cryptocurrency, moved it over to BlockFi, and then it earns interest on the amount of cryptocurrency that I have. So not only can you get the gains from the cryptocurrency, but you can also earn interest on your money as well as the gains in that crypto. Another thing that you could do with your crypto is utilize a cryptocurrency Roth IRA. And if you want to open one and get $100 of free Bitcoin, check out the link in the description below. But these are really cool because in a Roth IRA, anytime you've put money in there, it's been taxed already, and any transactions that you make are no longer taxed. So if you want to trade some of these crazy meme coins and put them into something like Bitcoin and Ethereum, or trade any type of cryptocurrency, anytime you buy or sell, you are not paying any fees. Whereas when you're buying or selling in a traditional brokerage account, there are a lot of fees associated with it, and you're going to be paying a decent amount of tax. So the last asset class I'm going to talk about would be real estate. And real estate is my favorite investment class, and 90% of millionaires have become so through investing in real estate. There are a lot of great benefits associated, like tax benefits, where you can have deductions and depreciation, as well as monthly cash flow. The value of your real estate increases, as well as someone else pays off the mortgage that you got in order to purchase the property. So there's so many great things associated with real estate, as well as the fact in the last year and a half, real estate prices have really shot up. So again, we want to beat out inflation, and when we invest in these assets, especially something like real estate, it will increase in value a lot. And real estate is also a great asset because it's a hard asset, it's physical, you can see it, you have control over increasing its value. Like if you bought a not very nice property, did a bunch of renovations, you could force appreciation to it. Other than the fact that there's also appreciation, like more people are moving to the area, it's becoming more desirable, more companies are moving to the area, and a lot of other reasons make real estate far more expensive, which is why it's such a great asset to purchase. And my favorite way that I've purchased real estate would be through something called house hacking. House hacking is really awesome, where you can buy a small multifamily building, a 2 to 4 unit property, live in one unit and then rent out the others. You can live for free, and then you can move out after a year and then have a full-on investment property. And why this is so great is because you can put 3.5% down, which is not necessarily very much money. Yes, it can still be a decent amount of money, but for the amount of property and wealth that you are able to generate from buying that property and utilizing all of that leverage, it is very little money down, and it's a great way to do it. And if you're interested in learning more about house hacking, I recently wrote an ebook that you can download for free, so check out the link in the description. Would love to hear your thoughts about that ebook, as well as help you on your way to becoming a millionaire. Those are the 3 asset classes that I wanted to talk about today, and if you want to see how my personal investment portfolio is doing, I'll put the video up here where I talk about how my investments are doing as of fall of 2021 and how they've definitely outperformed inflation, and how you could set up your life the same, going into more detail of the 3 assets that I talked about today. And if you're investing in any of these 3 assets, make sure you put it in the comments below which one is your favorite. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys can take some of this information solution, go ahead, start investing and beating out inflation and not just leaving your money in your bank account for your bank to invest for you and you do not earn any money on that money that you worked so hard to earn. And if you like me here, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content, tap that notification bell so you don't miss out on any tips for investing in real estate and things that you can do in order to build your wealth. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram as well as TikTok, where I like to make reels and other short form videos about the same topics. Thanks again for watching, and more wealth is coming your way.